Hey, hi, it's Bob Boross, and this is my jazz and tap dance life. I'm in the studio today for my Monday workout, and since this is going to be one of the first videos where I really talk to the audience, I have a lot to say. I've made a brief outline, a few pages, of just talking about who the heck I am and what I'd like to do with this video channel. But first I want to remind you to watch the videos and please be a subscriber. The success of the channel depends on the number of subscribers, the number of viewing hours. It's free, and you'll click the notifications bell to get free notifications of when I upload new videos. So if you like what you see, you want to know about it, you want to participate in the discussions, please be a subscriber to the channel, and let's make this a success for Jazz Dance, okay? Now, for me, I've been involved in jazz dance quite a long time. Jazz dance, tap dance, musical theater dance. 43 years now. I'm 63. I've been doing this ever since I turned 20. Of course, I've also studied ballet and modern dance, but my true nature is in jazz and tap and theater dance. First as a performer in New York, I was in the Broadway show Can-Can way back in 1981, and then many other smaller performances in the city. After that, 16 years as a studio owner, teacher, choreographer, producer of events, musicals, and ballet companies. I did just about everything you could do in dance during those years, teaching children, adults, running the business, managing the dance company, making the ads, running the auditions, loading the dance floor, dancing in the productions, you name it, I did it, every end of that business. But after attending the 1990 World Jazz Dance Congress in Evanston, Illinois, and seeing so many great jazz dance companies, I just said to myself, that's what I want to do. I want to do more than run a studio. So I followed in the footsteps of one of my colleagues, Billy Sigenfeld, who at that time, he was a professor at Hunter College in New York City. And I earned my master's degree from the Gallatin Division of New York University. My goal was to move into university teaching and work at a higher level at that point. Gallatin was a program that allowed me to design my own major in jazz dance, which was an interesting program. So it was jazz dance performance, technique, and choreography. So in 1995, I graduated, had my degree, and right away got a job at Illinois State University. So I was off to Illinois. The transition from teaching in a private studio to university studio was pretty big. And it's not that I couldn't do it, I certainly had the skills for it, but it's just that the acceptance of jazz dance and the curriculum into which jazz dance had to live was not the best. Keeping that in mind, I did move fairly often to other universities, and over the next 20 years I taught at schools in Kentucky, California, Missouri, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and now I'm in New York City and in New Jersey. So jazz dance has always had a lower level of acceptance within the university program and their curriculums, and I'm definitely one day going to make a video on that idea and what my experiences have been with jazz dance in academia. But along the way, I've been proactive and worked diligently in choreography, teaching, and also in writing about jazz dance. I built a resume that includes choreographing 10, 12 musicals, teaching and creating concert jazz dances all throughout Europe and Scandinavia and Russia. Teaching in nearly every major New York City dance center, publishing my jazz dance writing in publications like Dancer, Dance Magazine, Dance Teacher, and there's also a scholarly journal called Dance Chronicle where I published a few articles too. As a teacher, my jazz dance work has been highly influenced by my association with the legendary Matt Maddox. And I hope some of you know that name. He may not be that much of a household name in America, even though he's an American. And the majority of his career later on in his life was throughout Europe. But I worked in his technique all of my dance life. I studied with him for about 30 years as time allowed, because he was in Europe and I was here in the States. I wrote my major thesis when I was at NYU. As part of my NYU studies. So I have lots of work on lots of information on his work and career, and that will all be part of this channel. And you can see many of his videos, which you can't find anywhere else, as part of my channel. That's another great reason to subscribe. Others I've studied with and count as my influences are Billy Sigenfeld, Michael Owens, you should know that name, Nat Horn from way back, wonderful, wonderful man and teacher, Paul Draper in tap dance, my first big tap dance teacher in New York, also many years with Bob Audie in tap dance, Maggie Black in ballet, and my early influence with Lee Theodore at the American Dance Machine at Harkness House in the city. My jazz dance includes teaching Matt's technique, but also my own personal technique. I've developed my own approach, and I'll also teach a warm-up strongly based on the work of Michael Owens also. So I have a few different things that I work in. As for tap, I'm definitely off the heels. More like Paul Draper and Bob Waddy. It's a Broadway style, but it's not as flashy and showy as some Broadway styles as you may be thinking of. So maybe a little bit more like a Fred Astaire type of approach, but definitely no double-billed shoes for me, okay? Single soul all the way. And I know that's in the minority these days, but allows for a lot more precision in how you hit the floor. My choreography runs from many Broadway shows to classic jazz pieces to contemporary jazz, but I don't want to say contemporary in the way that you think contemporary is today. I just mean that I'm addressing many of today's issues using a strong classic jazz dance technique. So it's not always a dance that looks like from that era. It's something about today, using today's music, but using the strong values of days past. I had a lot of unusual assignments in choreography, and my biggest and most successful was an evening-length piece called Empty Sky, The Rising, which was in 2005. It had music by Bruce Springsteen, and had 12 songs, and it was all about hardships endured as a result of 9/11. Magnificent piece. I have wonderful photography from Eduardo Patino, if you know him. And that process of what I did is going to be a big part of what this channel is and the information that I bring to you. So I'll be talking about that. Just a quick note about tap dance too. Let me go back for a second. My discussion here about tap will focus mostly on my approach and what I want to say about it. I won't be discussing the history of tap dancing unless it relates to the people who have affected me. Tap dance is another separate vast subject, and I have to limit my discussion here to what my experiences are. But really, I mean, I've been around, I've done a lot, and met many people in the business, and I have a lot to say about jazz dance. History, its current application, and what needs to be done to ensure a good future for jazz dance. I'll be talking about all of these things. I'll be giving technique instruction. Advice for young dancers who don't know anything about a classical jazz dance approach. That would be very important. Or even about jazz music. You ask a young person, who's your favorite jazz musician, and blank, okay? So we'll talk about that too. There's so much to discuss in terms of jazz dancing. And this video format, it's really a perfect way to reach a vast amount of audience. I think this can be a very effective way of helping jazz dance and getting information out to people. Even though I'm directing this channel, it really can be a two-way method of communicating. You as the subscriber and viewer do not have to remain passive. Add a comment and question the videos that speak to you or challenge you. Start a dialogue, and of course be a subscriber and click the notifications bell. If you really like a video, click the like button. All these things tell YouTube that the material is informative and it's worthy of continued sponsorship. If you are a studio or a teacher in the studio, you're obviously in touch with dozens and dozens of dancers, so let them know, right? Let them know that this information is out there, it's available, and it's for free. I'll make a quick pitch, and I'm going to put up a card for this. I have a book called Comments on Jazz Dance, 1996 to 2014. I didn't bring the book with me, unfortunately, so I'll put that in a next video. But this is a compilation of all of my published writings on jazz dance. So there's articles on Matt Maddox, Bob Fosse, Donald McHale, Frank Hatchett, Lynn Simonson, Billy Sigenfeld, Denny Berchesky, so many more people. It's available on Amazon in paperback, and it's quite affordable. I'll put up a card, like I said. You can also get it as a download for iPad, so that will also be in the link that I'm going to send to you. But it's a great resource for jazz dance people. Ideas, philosophy, and technique. It's not meant to be about all people in jazz dance or all jazz dance. It's what I've written about. So I just want to make that clear. This is not everything of jazz. It's what I've been involved with jazz. So check it out. And I think that's it. Yeah? All right, so I'm going to get on to my warm-up and my workout. I'll be breaking down this warm-up for you in coming videos, so look for it. Hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for a subscriber. And I'll see you soon in my jazz and tap dance life, okay? All right, here we go.